Hi everyone, how are you? It's now mid-November pretty much. It's 34 degrees here in Melbourne, so I'm sitting in my backyard. It's very hot, and I know it's been some time since I've made a video for you guys, so happily re-emerging. So yeah, it's been an interesting time. I know that October was really difficult month, especially the first half of October. So if you recall, there was a lot of play between more darker elements with the light as well. At the moment there is more light streaming in, and it's kind of this unusual period where it is a lot more positive. A lot more people are feeling better, like they've come through the other end, but it's like that feeling of not quite knowing where you are as well. So where do you lie at this moment? Where are you heading? So there's a sort of contentment but an unsettling at the same time. So there's this inner drive and this intuitive pull that's directing you more towards being more true to yourself, and heading in areas of your life that give you more sense of fulfillment and passion and purpose and all of those things. So you feel this sort of inner pull, but at the same time you might be feeling a bit lost or unsure which direction to take, or just a beautiful white butterfly. There we go. Wasn't that beautiful? Little visit there. Okay, so I got distracted by the butterfly, but yeah, so you might just be feeling like a little bit uncentered or ungrounded, not sure which direction to take. So it's like you have this fire within you that's burning and saying, do something. And then you have this resistance or uncertainty, or a sort of feeling of being in a lull, a period of transition or crossroads, but you might not have any idea what the fork in the road, where it's leading. You definitely don't want to go backwards, you know that much. Okay, so in this spiritual journey, or your own self-development, your own journey of being here on earth as yourself in this human body, I feel there's a greater call towards being more in touch with your human self, your role here on earth, a more grounded sense of reality on where you are on earth, where you belong, what is it that you're meant to be doing, and even just in your interaction with other people, bringing that higher consciousness and bringing that your soul, your higher self, right down and pulling it to earth, so that you are more grounded and present in this reality, functioning more and transitioning between that sense of awakening and ascension and higher realities and the higher you, pulling in that to the more grounded sense of who you are. So there's this kind of integration process, as what the angels are now telling me, which is great because I was stumbling with words, I feel a little bit. So an integration of where you've been and where you're going, what you've been learning, even if it's not clear to you, but you might find that your subconscious mind is giving you clues through your dreams, through signs, signals, synchronicities. You will have had a really strong periods of having number synchronicities, and they might come and go in waves, and as they trickle down a little bit and maybe and lessen, that's that sign that you're coming into that integration period, and then it rises again. So if you're more grounded in your body, which is also why the very first course that I'm creating is about getting grounded and explaining why and how to do it in really easy, simple ways, but also advanced techniques as well, because we're here for a reason, and what we're learning is to integrate our higher selves with our lower selves, because when we've gone through periods of great difficulties, we've been more in our lower mind, and even our lower chakras. We've been more in our lower chakras, which are more to do with struggles on earth and all earth associations such as materialism and trying to feel secure here, trying to work through the difficulties that the ego brings up and that life brings up and challenges. And we're working towards now integrating that with our higher aspects, as I said, which is our higher chakras. So right in the middle between our lower and higher chakras is our heart center. I'm just going to pause there. So just feel that energy streaming in as you reconnect with your heart. So that's what the angels are saying now to do. When you're in your heart center, you are more present, you're more aware, you're more calm. And that's the place from which to be. So this is looking at re-emerging the self, spending more time on you, and coming from a place of you, turning things around so that even difficult relationships you might find changing as you change, because we're learning the hard way that we can't necessarily change other people, but what we can change and work on is ourselves. And it's all about our perspective and as well as our efforts. So during this process you might feel alone, but I would say in a more positive way. We're all in different, parts of the journey and experiencing things differently. So some people might still be experiencing some difficulties, but when you're in a place of integrating different energies and different parts of who you are and different lessons that you've been experiencing, different energy that has come your way, and you're at this sort of a point of on the edge, I guess, and you don't know where it is that you're going next. That sense of feeling alone is humbling and is allowing you to tune more into yourself and your own awareness. And what are those things that you've been hiding or not willing to look at? Perhaps you've only been looking at things from a surface level. So it's piercing through the veils, piercing through the tough layers to discover what it is, and also what is the foundations, what's underneath everything that you've been experiencing, what's underneath the difficulties. When you discover that and you peel away those layers and maybe knock down those walls, then you can break open and break free to discover who you are and what it is you need to know right now, so that you can then, I really don't like to say this word ascend, but break free and go to the next level of awareness. Let's just put it that way, like piercing through a curtain. And it's funny that I just said that, because I just flipped over a card, because I'm just loosely allowing cards to allow intuitive information to come through, but I just flipped the card and literally this card came up, and look, she's piercing through the veils, so that's perfect and on point. This is also a reflection of the veils thinning. So late October, around Halloween time, and early November, it's a very, very highly intuitive period, and you will have noticed this for yourself. And so it's like you're piercing through the veils between the worlds. So this means heightened intuition, heightened dreams, and maybe paranormal or spiritual experiences, but also you're opening the veils to who you truly are and rediscovering that, and coming back to you. So this is very much a period of coming back to you, of allowing yourself to feel more free and less bound. So if you can just feel that sense of peace, freedom, tranquility and honesty, and apply that to yourself, allow that energy to transmute and to experience that feeling right now, even just through the nature, my surrounds, the energy through my words, through the angels, and the light that's transmitting. So take your time with that. Also, you might find that sacred music, sacred sounds, high vibrational sounds or music, bells, even just right now the birds, sounds of nature. Allow these sounds to encompass you and to lift you up, to bring you back into wholeness and integrity as you integrate. And isn't that interesting how the words integrity and integration they all come from the same root word, and being an English teacher, they've brought that into my consciousness. But also, as you integrate, you come into alignment and integrity with who you truly are. So see how all these messages integrate. Okay, so it's an integration period. In that time, as much as you can go inwards, be grounded, and just peel back layers and allow yourself to just be, spend time on yourself, the more that you will come to a greater peace, and then you can apply that to your outer life. So it all starts with you. As I was saying that, I was hearing the sound through my ears, so representing the ringing in the ears sound, those high-pitched frequencies that some of you are hearing. So you might be experiencing more high energy coming through. And I was being told before that in December there will be a shift. So more on that in my next video. So it's also a time of, I guess, closures, closing behind what you've learned from the last period of eclipses right through to this current period. You're processing and realizing what it is that you've been learning, and also you know, to close that book behind you and be proud of what you've achieved, even if you don't feel you've actually achieved much this year, because it's been an interesting year. As much as it's been an energy coming through of new beginnings and a new cycle, there's been a lot of darkness playing up as well, and I write about that in my newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed, just yeah, press the link below this video. But there's this play between darkness and light, so the more the light comes in, the more the dark play out, and it really is evident in our world and behind the scenes, much more than the most, you know, than common people even would have any idea. So being an energy worker, I'm very in touch with this, and also through my own interest in research, that there's a lot going on in the world that people just don't realize, that reality has been painted a certain way, but life is actually much more different, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So I explain that a bit more in my newsletter, and you know, I will be continuing to raise awareness of you know, issues that affect us, that both spiritual warfare in terms of negative energy, but also people on earth who are working together to bring down humanity. So there's that pull, and as you say that, you feel this sort of this pull, this magnetized sort of slump, and that's how they like to pull us down and drag us down. So right now we're rebirthing and reawakening and coming back to who we are, so that we can realign and readjust and recalibrate as this year unwinds, and as soon we'll be entering the new year with a brand new energy, with new challenges and you know, and great strengths and opportunities to come. And just now they've reminded me, I mentioned that word strength, but we're also building up our resilience, I'm being told, as well as spiritual strength, and that's where realigning back to yourself is so important and integral. And they've just, they can be funny, but with this word thing, integral, integrating, and what was the other one? I can't remember the other one I said before. There's a play on words that they're using. They're also saying now that word in, so coming in to you. That's where we get the word inspiration, because it's about spirit inwards, so pulling in spiritual awareness into you and integrating that. So for some people, and I myself included, it's a time of also reassessing where you want to go next, making changes, big changes, small changes, simplifying your life, realizing, you know what, that's not working for me, or how can I change this to realign to the new me, or the new energy that wants to come through to help us in our evolution and growth. And you know, growth and change comes from you, and then it's filtered outwards, and you know, ripple effects like a pond in the water, they're showing me. This is about realigning with yourself as a light worker, what you bring to humanity, but you must first realize the light within yourself before you can then give it out to others. So on that note, I'm going to end this video. Lots of love to you, and I'll speak to you real soon.